Pass me by one summer day, flash those big brown eyes my way, and oh, I wanted you forevermore. Now, baby, I'm not one that gets around, swear my feet stuck to the ground, and though I never did meet you before, I said hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart. Goodbye, heart, sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you. I'm in love with Mary. I knew, Mary Lou, that we never part. So hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart, goodbye, heart. Saw your lips, I heard your voice. Believe me, I just had no choice, but horses couldn't make me stay away. Thought about a moonlit night, arms around you, good and tight. That's all I need to see for me to stay. Hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart. Goodbye, heart. Sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you. I'm in love with Mary. I knew, Mary Lou, we never part. So hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart, goodbye, heart. Hello, Mary Lou, I'm in love with you, yes. Hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart. Right from the start, I said hello, Mary Lou, goodbye. Hoorah, Kyra, S-C-I-S-E, Oira, Case. Shine on forever, Case Western Reserve. Loyal and true are we. Your brave sons and daughters, your knowledge we use to make our mark on history. Our school days will cherish forevermore. A lifetime of friends from the start. Shine on forever, Case Western Reserve. You'll be forever in our hearts.
We're still waiting for the arrival of the president of the university, and if you folks don't mind, I'd like to wait maybe 5 minutes. See if he's here by then we'll get the program started. But again, can we give another round of applause to the Case Men's Glee Club? Who I believe is the oldest student organization on campus. Perfect timing is right. I have a seat right here for you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Steve Zinram. I'm the Executive Director of the Case Alumni Association, and I welcome you to the 137th Annual Case Alumni Association All Classes Reunion and Awards Ceremony. Before I go any further, I'd like to recognize some special guests that are here this evening. President Eric Kaler and his wife, Karen. Welcome. And Jan Kicker, wife of Tom Kicker, the first dean of the Case School of Engineering, and some members of her family. They're going to be part of a very special announcement during tonight's program. So welcome to all of you, our special guests. This evening, we've asked President Kaler to welcome our alumni back to campus. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, the 11th president of Case Western Reserve University, Eric W. Kaler.
Thank you. A musical interlude is always a welcome event. Thanks, Steve, and good evening, everyone. I'm really pleased to join you for the Case Alumni Association's 137th all-class reunion and award ceremony. Now, 137, it's a pretty big and interesting number. Is it a prime number? I think it is, yeah. So I was curious as to what has happened in the intervening 136 years. So what was turning engineering heads back in 1885, which would have been the year of the Case Alumni Association's first reunion? 1885, I'm tempted to have a quiz, but I won't, was the year that Alexander Graham Bell founded American Telephone and Telegraph Company, AT&T. It was also the year that Carl Benz designed and built a three-wheeled vehicle powered by an internal combustion engine. There are some lesser-known milestones listed in the November 14, 1885 issue of Scientific American. One of the most interesting to me was a patent issued to Mr. James W. Boyles of Louisville, Kentucky, who developed an attachment for bedstands. The invention provided a guard board that could be used to, quote, separate two or more people sleeping in a bed. Now, I don't know for a fact that Mr. Bowles was an engineer, but I do know that this probably had a negative impact on his marriage to Mrs. Bowles. There is no record of her response. So clearly we have come a long way since 1885, but the thing that remains the same for this group is an appreciation for each other and a commitment to celebrating your successes in the field of engineering and, importantly, your successes as human beings. I want to congratulate all of the distinguished award winners tonight, and I know that Steve will share more about each of you in just a bit. But as a group, you have all made outstanding contributions to the field of engineering, and you've had the opportunity to do that for the Case Alumni Association, the Case School of Engineering, and Case Western Reserve University. And for that, I want to thank you for all that you've done to advance our discipline of engineering in this institution. So let me take just a couple of minutes, really, and excuse me, just briefly update you on what we've been up to for the past year, and I know the Dean will give you more detail in just a few minutes. Our overall priorities for the institution remain to elevate academic excellence, to expand our research enterprise, and to enhance our community engagement. This fall, we were pleased to welcome 1,550 first-year students and 65 transfer students. They arrived from a record application pool of 38,000 applications. It's a pretty large number of applications. And not only are they a talented group of students, they're also our most diverse incoming class ever. 26% of them identify as underrepresented minorities, 24% identify as Asian American, and another 14% are international students. So I mention this because diversity and inclusion are imperatives for us at Case Western Reserve, and they are values that are embedded in who we are and all that we do. On the research side, we've committed to increasing our annual research expenditures from our current $440 million to $600 million really as quickly as we can. I've given a variety of targets, each one of them more quick than the others, but honestly, if we don't do that within 5 years, we aren't paying enough attention to what we're doing. And so in the past year, we've taken some significant steps to enable us to get there. First, we've hired Michael Oakes, our inaugural Senior Vice President for Research and Technology Management. He now is a person at this institution whose only and sole job is to wake up in the morning and to think about our research enterprise and how to improve and expand it. We also announced plans to build the Interdisciplinary Science and Engineering building just across the quad on the site of Yost Hall. This $300 million facility will house more than 200,000 square feet research space and hold up to 100 principal investigators. So in this crowd, I actually have to ask, as I have done before, how many of you either lived in or have been in Yost Hall? The good news, you're not sure, or you're on the fence. Okay. The good news, we are going to have bricks for sale. Very special present. So we all know that we need more and better research space, and this building will give what we need for years to come. The timeline is that we hope to break ground in 2024 and then cut a ribbon in 2026 as part of our bicentennial celebration of Western Reserve University 200 years ago. And indeed, we're making progress on our research goals. And just the past month, we've received several major grant awards, almost $16 million from the NIH, $12 million from the Department of Energy, another $14 million from the Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration. And in August, we were among several collaborating universities to receive not one, but two separate $26 million grants from the National Science Foundation. So overall, Raghu and the faculty in this college have had a pretty good couple of months. And the secret, of course, is there is no secret. And Wayne Gretzky said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. The corollary for us is you don't get 100% of the grants that you don't submit. So we need to grow our grant activity. We need to build infrastructure under Michael Oakes' leadership to make that possible. And finally, in community engagement, we know that academia is often associated with the proverbial ivory tower. We need to come out of that tower and meet the members of our communities where they are and in ways that they want. So as an example, this year we launched our Cleveland Population and Urban Health Initiative, which will create a regional network for studying issues around urban health and health policy that's focused on interfering with the social determinants of health and helping people become healthy before they become patients. It's important because it recognizes that the health of our regional economy depends critically on our citizens' mental and physical health, and we need to invest in that. So there is much more going on, but this gives you a high-level idea of our priorities, what we value, and where we're going. So thank you for inviting me to join you this evening. I appreciate the opportunities, and once again, congratulations to all of the award winners. Thank you.
Thank you, President Kaler. As is tradition, we will now hear a few remarks from the Charles H. Phipps, Dean of the Case School of Engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Balakrishnan.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, President Kaler, for joining us tonight and for your leadership over the past year. You know, I've been to a lot of academic events in my career, but I can honestly say that this is the first time I've heard the word bedsteads ever being mentioned in a talk. And that makes it a little hard of an act to follow, I must say. But more seriously, it's wonderful to see all of you here this evening. And I'd like to offer a warm welcome to our award winners and their families, as well as all of you who came out to support our remarkable alumni. I'm delighted that we have the opportunity to gather together on campus this year to celebrate each of you, as well as the legacy of this great university and the pride we all have in being affiliated with it. This year's award winners have a variety of achievements, and I'm honored to celebrate each and every one of you. I'd like to share a special congratulations to my colleague Ken Laparo an alumnus of Case Western Reserve University who also served on the faculty as a faculty member for an amazing 43 years. Today, he receives the Case Alumni Association's highest honor, the Silver Bowl, but you'll hear from him a little bit later. I'm thrilled that all of us at the School of Engineering have had the opportunity to learn from people like him and work with him for so many years. Congratulations, Ken, and sincerest congratulations to all the award winners for your outstanding achievements and your dedication to the Case School of Engineering. So this year brings a new life and a revitalized spirit to the Case School of Engineering as we welcome the university's largest class yet, as the president mentioned, a significant portion of whom are interested in pursuing fields in engineering. First-year students with an expressed interest in engineering will now all have the opportunity to take part in the Roger E. Soucy first-year experience, a hands-on program focused on problem solving. I encourage you all to visit the newly completed Soucy lab in the Bingham building if you haven't already. It's truly remarkable to see the space and understand how our first-year students begin developing as engineering leaders right from the moment they set foot on our campus. So in the Soucy lab, coding and computer science are integrated in projects throughout the semester. From there, many students will go on to pursue a major in our rapidly growing computer and data sciences department. As some of you may know, Case Western Reserve was one of the very first institutions to offer a computer engineering degree, and I'm thrilled to share that we are continuing our legacy of groundbreaking undergraduate degree programs with our BS in Data Science Analytics program being the first of its kind in the United States to be accredited by ABET, the accrediting body. So we're the world, in fact, the world's first accredited program in computer and data sciences. The incoming class is energetic and eager and ready to take on challenges and solve problems. They also have great examples in you, our alumni, and our current students. The list is extensive, but I'll just highlight a few. Next semester, Chase Bredding will join us back on campus after spending 11 months as an intern at Tesla Motors. This experience has provided him real-world and hands-on learning and leadership, including the opportunity to present his work to Tesla's Director of Cell Manufacturing Engineering and a large team of electrode engineers. This real-world experience has given Chase the opportunity to envision life after his undergraduate degree and define goals for his future, as well as set a great example of the opportunities and experiences a Case engineer can have during their time as a student. Another student, Jamie Booker, is working with Artemis I team at the Kennedy Space Center, while Andrea Chakraborty is working on a team designing a new concourse at LAX, LA International Airport, in preparation for the increased volume of flights expected during the 2028 Olympic Games. So even before they graduated the bachelor's degree, Case engineering students are having an impact on the world. Earlier this semester, we were proud to name 16 graduate students as Case Advancement Fellows. This cohort of PhD students contribute to the culture of diversity within the School of Engineering through mentorship opportunities, professional development and networking, as well as hosting events and attending external conferences. Through this fellowship, the students are supported on their path towards their degree while broadening perspectives of the school as a whole. One last point of pride I must mention is our student groups. They are achieving tremendous successes. This summer, the Case Rocket team brought home second place overall at Intercollegiate Rocket Engineering Competition and first in their category, and the robotics team placed fifth at the World Championship. And our Baja team, again, finished fifth in a recent competition, and they tell me it's their highest finish in the past 25 years, in their memory, at least in 25 years. So it's been an amazing record of successes by our student teams, and I know that they have been supported by many of you in the audience, of course by the Alumni Association, but as well as individuals like Larry Enterline here. They have actually supported our teams very generously and played a big role in their successes in these international competitions. And so we are very tremendously grateful for all your help in this regard. And I mentioned that our student body is growing, and we know that as enrollment grows, so much our teaching body. So this year, we have successfully brought on 17 new faculty members across the 8 departments. These individuals are exceptional additions to our university and bring a variety of experience to the table, offering additional opportunities to our students, as well as the potential for innovative and interdisciplinary collaborations across departments and schools. All of them have hit the ground running and already making waves in their given areas. Finally, I have to share the tremendous successes our faculty researchers have achieved over the past 12 months. Now, President Kaler already mentioned a few large grants in his opening remarks, and I'm very proud to say that quite a few of them actually live right here within the Case School of Engineering. Through the leadership of a strong and diverse set of faculty inventors, we are breaking research funding records again this year. As President Kaler mentioned, the National Science Foundation announced that Case engineers would be collaborating on 2 separate NSF research engineering centers, 2 out of the only 4 awarded across the country and only once every 2 years. And this is an incredible achievement and a testament to the impressive work that our faculty do every day. In the same semester, we also announced a large grant renewal for an existing Department of Energy-funded research center. Again, President Kaler mentioned this, on battery electrodes, as well as the $14.2 million grant from NNSA. This one's on applying innovative approaches to enhancing manufacturing of materials. So our early career faculty members are hitting it out of the park as well. In just the past 3 years, faculty members have been recognized with 11 nationally prestigious and very hard to win early career awards, such as the NSF Career Award and other Young Investigator Awards. So as you can see, we continue to grow and advance our research with recognition across the globe. It's a great time to be part of the Case School of Engineering and Case Western Reserve, and you're all a part of that as well. We continue to celebrate the success of our alumni. It is an absolute pleasure to hear the great things our alumni are doing all over the world, and we couldn't be more honored to celebrate those in the room today. Again, I'm thrilled that you're all here. It's so wonderful to see you all, and I wish the deepest congratulations to today's winners. And I hope that you enjoy the 2020 homecoming, and I look forward to seeing you at events throughout the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghu. Every March, the awards committee of the Case Alumni Association gathers for the arduous task of choosing the next year's award recipients. Nominations are submitted by alumni, faculty, and staff. The committee is made up of the past presidents of the Case Alumni Association, and they take their task very seriously. Sunniva Collins, our immediate past president of the CAA, and her committee are very proud of this year's slate of awardees. So let's get started. Our first set of awardees can best be described with 2 words: Case Pride. Let's meet this year's winners of the Young Alumni Leadership Award and the Samuel A. Gavelber Fellowship Award.
Many different things drew me to Case, but one of the earliest memories I have of this great university was back in middle school. I was part of a science Olympiad team from Monticello Middle School in Cleveland Heights, and I had the opportunity to come on campus and compete in a couple of different events. Particularly was the metric mastery event, and I was very excited to have won this very gold medal right here. But during that opportunity, the different professors, students, and really the entire community of volunteers, it left quite an impression on me. One of my most favorite memories as a student here at Case was my opportunity to serve as a teaching assistant in the computer science department. And I must say that the skills I learned as a TA have proven invaluable in my current role as a consultant. I studied computer science during my undergraduate career here at Case, and then decided to make a pit stop over in Weatherhead to get a Master's of Finance. I am the founder and principal consultant of Theo Wise David, a limited liability company that I founded during my Master's of Finance program over at Weatherhead. One of the latest projects I've worked on is a business named Content Status. I met a man named George Koenig 4 years ago through a mutual connection, and he came to me with an idea for a problem he was seeing in the e-commerce industry. And so he hired my firm to build a MVP prototype. And as the story goes, it just grew from there. And over time, I look up and I realize I'm the technical co-founder of this business. It is very important for me to give back to CASE because I've been the beneficiary of some amazing resources, help, mentorship, and all around amazing community that has helped me to get to where I am today. It feels amazing to receive this Young Alumni Leadership Award, but for me it also represents a challenge to continue on, to really live up to the honor, but really surpass it. I am probably the hardest person on myself, but it's because I have such a drive and passion to succeed, and I feel like this is just more fuel to the fire for my career and for my journey, and I'm excited about what's next.
Well, when I first enrolled as a freshman, my major was biomedical engineering. Computer engineering did not exist as a major. CASE had computers, which a lot of schools didn't. And a lot of the engineering courses required programming. And I just became very interested in computing generally. And so switched from biomedical engineering to sort of a combination of electrical engineering and systems engineering. I got so much out of CASE. I was a student here for, sadly, close to 20 years. I don't know whether that's good or bad. And so, I've spent a lot of time here. I've gone through a number of programs here. I graduated 3 times. It's just been a very important part of my life, and I think it's important to give back. I was a Phi Delta Theta fraternity member. It was a great group of guys, many of whom are still friends of mine, for sure. Playing sports was a really important part of my experience here. And I was on the student senate. I wrote for the yearbook. So there were just so many opportunities to do things, sadly, other than study, which I should have done more. I'm very interested in giving back, and I do it not just in sports, but sports is an important area that I like to give back. Sports is an important part of the family activities generally, but so they all are kind of blended together. The visiting committee, when it was formed, I was an original member. I've been chair for as long as I can remember. Well, there had been summer send-offs in Chicago for a number of years, which we would attend, and then when we sort of ran out of venues or couldn't think of one, we decided to host it at our house. My wife deserves a lot of credit for that because it's a fair bit of work, and she puts in the effort to make it a great experience. Those are so much fun. And that's, I think, still the most impressive part of CASE is the quality of the students. Not just good academically, but they're all really good kids, and I enjoy meeting them. Well, I've been involved in the CAA for a long time, and I've nominated a number of people for awards over the years, one of whom is getting one this year as well, Capijo. And so it means a lot, because I know the quality of the people that have received it in the past. I know the quality of the people that I've nominated, and I barely believe I fit in their league, but so I'm quite honored.
Presenting the awards this evening are Joe Foucault, class of 1990 and president of the CASE Alumni Association, and the Charles H. Phipps, dean of the CASE School of Engineering, Raghu Balakrishnan. So let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, the Young Alumni Leadership Award winner, Carlin Jackson. is Samuel A. Gavelber Fellowship Award winner, Jim Trelevin. Earlier this year, the Case Western Reserve University community lost a great leader in Thomas Kicker. Dr. Kicker was an integral part of the Case Alumni Association, the Case School of Engineering, and Case Western Reserve University, along with the Cleveland community as a whole. At the spring meeting of the Case Alumni Association Board of Directors, the alumni voted unanimously to rename the Meritorious Service Awards to the Thomas P. Kicker 59, MS 62, PhD 65 Meritorious Service Awards. With us this evening is his wife, Jan, and two of her children, Paul Kicker and Laura Kicker Chamberlain. Paul and Laura will be presenting this year's recipients of their award. The first recipients of the Thomas P. Kicker Meritorious Service Awards, these two are best described as great ambassadors of Case Western Reserve University.
So actually, I started as a chemistry pre-med. And it wasn't until my freshman year, and I was talking to my brother, who was a Chem-E senior here at Case, and he kind of said, well, you know, you'd like the math, so why don't you consider polymer engineering? It's kind of a up-and-coming field, not a lot of schools, and it's like, okay, I'll think about it. And so then my sophomore year, I said, you know what, forget pre-med, I'm going on board polymer science and engineering. I started at Lubrizol as a research chemist. And then probably about 3 years later, after doing more of a research chemist role, I was given the opportunity to be a manager, an analytical manager. And from then on, I think I've always been more in the management and leadership, but more of a technical leader at Lubrizol. So when I was in the UK, I was testing leader, so I was managing a department in Hazelwood, England. So I spent about 7 months doing that. And then I went to China for 4 years, and that was building a lab. So there was a testing lab, a QA lab, and then also an R&D lab that we were trying to get started in Zhuhai, China. I kiddingly tell people that was probably one of my favorite jobs because I had one foot in each country, but also cultures. To then have a foot in each culture and be able to say, okay, I know what we need to do, I can see the different pieces, let's collaborate to then make this as one, was kind of the thing that I really enjoyed. I feel it's important to help other women, especially aspiring scientists. I don't want them to repeat the mistakes that I made. So I feel it's in my best interest to share with them what I've gone through and then maybe help guide them so that they can be that much more successful with their careers starting off, so they don't repeat what I did or learn the hard way. And I also like to meet with the students, great, bright, young, energetic students here at Case Western, and to hear about some of their challenges and also their dreams, also very inspiring for me. It's always sometimes like a nice break from work to go and listen to and talk to a student. I was very surprised when Steve Zimran called me, and I almost fell out of my chair. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what an honor. I'm very humbled to be joining this prestigious list of previous awardees. And sometimes I feel like, okay, imposter syndrome, and I worthy. There's so many other people that I know that are also worthy. So it's a great honor for me to be getting it this year.
Well, I think CASE was tremendous preparation, really, for what I've done in my career. I think obviously the quality of the technical education. I was in the electrical engineering and applied physics program there. Frederick Phelps, who was in the electrical engineering professor, Harry Mergler, who was in the systems area. And then, believe it or not, the other name that comes to mind is Larry Sears. He was a graduate assistant and, taught a course, and I think the value that I remember of that course, as opposed to being theory oriented, which a lot of the CASE curriculum was, it was more practically oriented. It gave me a good baseline, I think, for working on things in my career. It was a little more to the practical side, but yeah, I would credit Larry with giving me a lot of help in that area. So my involvement with Baja actually started, I worked at Fox Factory, which is a manufacturer of high-performance suspension. So we were a supporter of Baja, and the way I got involved with CASE is I was back there on a campus tour. They took me through, I think it was in the Sears building. They showed me their Baja car, and the first thing I noticed, it had my competitor's shocks on it. So I said right away, hey, I think we can make this better, right? So that's where I got involved with the team. And then I stayed involved helping them with various things over the years, both in terms of getting them talent, people that could advise them from the company, and helping them monetarily with projects. In about 2001, I established the foundation to deal with the sector at large, the intellectually and developmentally disabled sector. And we've been operating the foundation now for 20 years. We give out money, we take grants, from all over the country. The reason I got interested in it, primarily my parents. My mother was a nurse, my father was a very giving individual, and this population struck me as I grew up. They were, a population that really needed help, right? It's a tremendous honor to receive this award through the university from my fellow alumni. When I look at some of the past winners, I can only feel humbled to receive this. Again, I'm very proud to have been chosen, and it is something I think that will serve as inspiration for me as I go through my next 70 years to do even more. Thank you very much.
The Thomas P. Kicker Meritorious Service Award winner, Kapi Ho. The Thomas P. Kicker Meritorious Service Award winner, Larry Enterline. Paul, Laura, thank you so much. After shooting the videos for our next two Thomas P. Kicker Meritorious Service Award winners, Bob Smith, our Director of Communication, came to me and emphatically described both as having great drive, ambition, and perseverance.
So my CASE education prepared me for work and really life in a couple different ways. The first was the critical thinking and the ability to learn the skills I developed in the classroom. Those have been incredibly important, especially with my emphasis on emerging technology. The things I do today didn't exist 20 years ago when I was in the classroom, but I've learned how to learn, and so I've been able to build those skill sets over time. I'd say the second thing is the relationships that I built on campus. I met an incredible amount of great friends in the dorms, on the track. I met my husband of 20 years at Case, so definitely the relationships have been really important. But after 20 years or so of business and technology consulting, I really felt a desire to do something different. And augment therapy presented itself as that different for me. At Augment Therapy, we use augmented reality software to provide gamified, fun exercises that are also evidence-based. So physical therapy, occupational therapy. We also have programs for radiation oncology to allow children to be more comfortable with receiving radiation, cardiology. Basically across the care continuum, our software allows kids to be excited about their therapies and also have more accessible therapies. When I was 30 years old, I had a toddler and a baby at home. I thought I had a knee injury. One thing led to another, and I found out I actually had bone cancer. I learned that life comes at you fast. The unexpected can happen, so it's important to build those skills to allow you to deal with adversity when it happens. And then the second thing I learned was the ability of creating big, outrageous goals. For me, when I was deep in the wells of cancer treatment, I set the goal of qualifying for the Boston Marathon. It took me a while, but afterwards, after treatment was complete, I am happy to report that I qualified and ran the Boston Marathon. I think it's important to mentor the next generation, especially the next generation of female engineers. When I graduated, there was very few people to look up to. Women engineers just weren't a thing. And as a result, I felt like I floundered a lot in my career because I couldn't see role models ahead of me. So I want to make sure that the women graduating now can see the full progression of their career path and that there's people in those roles that look like them. I have to admit, when I found out I was getting this award, I was surprised. There are so many distinguished alumni from Case, leaders in their field, people that have given back so much to the university. I definitely didn't feel worthy, so I'm very humbled to be in the audience of those folks.
In my junior year at the University of Puerto Rico, Mayagüez, I was, finishing my chemical engineer degree. NASA always go to the University of Puerto Rico to interview, and I was lucky enough to get an offer by NASA to come to, at that point in time, was NASA Lewis. You're talking about, 1983. There was not that many women in engineering. So being a female Hispanic in an engineering field, imagine, the challenges. I was very fortunate to have great mentors and individuals that took the time to help me out to pretty much transition into a workforce far away from home with a different culture and a different language. Dr. Fick and Dr. Angus always hold a very special place on my heart because their mentorship, their advice, and their support through my years at Case. I decided at that point in time that I want to continue my graduate studies, and this case would be a PhD. So NASA had a program with a couple of universities in the area, and Case was one of them. One of the things that I always ask myself, how did you do it, right? Because I was raising a family, I was going to graduate school, and I also have a full-time job. When you put those three things together, it's really hard in terms of one very simple thing, time management. And it goes back to commitment. When you are committed to something, you find ways to do things. The other piece is the support that you need. You need the support of your family, you need the support of your friends, and you need the support of your community at large. One of the things that I'm honored and humbled is being the director of NASA Glenn Research Center, which is a premier research organization. It's very rewarding. It is very unique in terms of the opportunities and the learning. Every single day I learn something. Receiving this Meritorious Service Award from the CASE alumni is an honor because it's a testament in terms of the people that have supported me. So it's not just about me, it's about, all the support that I have received, all the learning that have been accumulated through the year. It's good to know that it's been recognized, but more than anything, it's an opportunity to hopefully inspire and motivate someone out there to achieve. It's not just my award, it's the award from the students, it's an award from my family, my friends, my advisors at CASE, everyone that has contributed to my success. This award belongs to them as much as it belongs to me. So thank you. A great honor to receive this award.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Thomas P. Kicker Meritorious Service Award winner, Carmen Fontana. The Thomas P. Kicker Meritorious Service Award winner, Marla Perez Davis. Our gold medal award winner received his master's degree and PhD from CASE, degrees he used to become a leader in the nation's tech industry at Synopsys. He pointed out to us during the video shoots that best of all during those times, he met the woman who would later become his wife. Let's meet a forever student, Chi Foon Chan.
I chose CASE because I was very interested at that time in biomedical engineering, and CASE was well known for this. My first year in biomedical engineering, I was responsible for a cow with heart transplant in Cleveland Clinic, and I realized I might not really be prepared for the medical field. Computer engineering also offered me a scholarship, and so I switched to computer engineering. So Cleveland has a lot to offer with Case Western because of all the different disciplines. And it ended up that in my career, I needed all of them, which I didn't know, of course, at that time. Understanding all the different disciplines and not being worried as you get into new things was, I thought, a very important educational journey. Mostly because I think engineering is a great discipline because it just constantly challenging and constantly learning something. And if you love to learn that thing, that's what's so exciting about engineering. You're constantly learning. Everything you know today is obsolete in 2-3 years. So one of the main things for university and grad school is to teach you how to continue learning, right? You got to have a good basis and keep learning. And I thought Case helped me on that tremendously. She was studying at the Cleveland Institute of Music. I was very lucky and very blessed to be in Cleveland, Ohio, going to Case Western and not only get a degree, but marry and got a wife and a lifelong friend. I've been very blessed along my career and my journey. Whatever I like to do, I would like to do something of impact. I jokingly, and maybe not too jokingly, say I'm having a mid-career crisis. I don't want to say I have an early career crisis, but maybe a mid-career crisis. Who knows? I've been happy and blessed so far. I think it will be good. I want to express my feeling when I get an award like this from classmate and peer. It is actually amazing because usually after you graduate, you keep learning, and you actually, as an operating executive, you measure your results by numbers and by contribution, by the future and stability of the company. You don't stop to look back. When one quarter ends, another quarter starts, right? A recognition like this from peers and from fellow alumnus is really appreciative. I mean, I don't know what to say. I just said, wow, thank you. Thank you and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 Gold Medal Award winner, Chi Foon Chan. The Silver Bowl is a very special award that is not given on an annual basis. However, this year, the awards committee stepped back and realized that a very special person was retiring from the Case School of Engineering. An individual who spent 4 decades as a member of the faculty, a department chair, an associate dean, and president of the Case Alumni Association. All in all, a teacher, a mentor, a friend. They never hesitated in naming Ken Laparo the 2022 Silver Bowl recipient.
All students are special. The students at Case are particularly special. They're extremely talented, highly driven and curious, and it's a great opportunity to be with them in the classroom because of the fact that they are engaged and interested in learning. Joe, our son, ended up coming to Case, got a bachelor's degree in chemistry. Our daughter also came to Case. That's an interesting story because Jessie, our daughter, wanted to be an engineer. And some of the fondest memories that I have of being in the classroom was having my daughter in my class. Very interesting. Students in a classroom, I don't know if you know, but it's kind of like people at church. They sit in the same pew every Saturday or every Sunday, and students sit in the same seat every day. So you do get to know who they are and where they sit. When my daughter was in the circuits class, I would always look back at her, and if she was nodding, I knew I was in trouble, so I had to pick up the pace or do something a little bit different. But it was a very special time having Jessie in a number of my classes and her friends. So I've been here since actually July of 1979. Tom Kicker at that time was chair of the mechanical engineering department. When I first came here in 1979, Tom kind of took me under his wing, and because I was a mechanical engineer, even though I was in the systems engineering department, Tom offered an opportunity to be a sort of secondary faculty member in mechanical engineering. And when the Case School of Engineering was formally announced, which was in like 1992, and Tom Kicker was the inaugural dean of engineering, I was just about at that time getting promoted from associate professor to full professor. And Tom asked me to be associate dean of engineering, and I accepted. And Tom and I became extremely close at that time and for all years forward. It's always important to get recognition from your students, your colleagues, and your friends. This is really important to me because the last recipient was Tom Kicker. And as I've said, although Tom and I over the last number of years probably haven't seen each other as often, as we could have or should have, maybe. We did talk quite often, and we were working on a couple of ideas together, actually, for the university. And so it's particularly special for me to be the person that received the Silver Bowl right after Tom Kicker.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the 2022 Silver Bowl, Ken Laparo. So I wanted to give a very special thank you again to the Case Men's Glee Club. I noticed a few stayed for the ceremony tonight. Also the volunteers and staff of the Case Alumni Association, including our 2 student employees. Toth Video Productions and Media Vision staff for all their efforts in producing this evening's events. We also want to say thank you to the Student Film Society for delaying their activities for this evening so that we could utilize the space here in Strosacker Auditorium. One quick reminder to our award recipients, if you could stay in your areas or close by, Melissa Slager and Bob Smith will be by to coordinate some photos. With that, for those watching online, and for those here this evening, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Case Alumni Association and the Office of the Dean of the Case School of Engineering, thank you for attending the 137th Annual All Classes Reunion and Awards Ceremony. Thank you.